Hello guys, it is your boy Winster back at it again with another video. Today we are doing a market watch. We're going to be looking into some of these prices for collection for the meta, for whatever your heart's content, post ban list, or at least the announcement of the ban list. Before we get into the market watch video, guys, do yourselves a favor, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to turn on the notification bell. That way you can stay up to date with all the content that does drop on this channel. Be sure to check out all the other social media platforms down below: Discord, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch. Everything is going to be in the description box, so make sure you pull up. Let's jump right into today's video to talk about some of these trends, and it's some crazy spikes. I really wanted to talk about the most recent OTS pack. There are a couple cards that are going for crazy prices, and some of these are nostalgia cards. That card being Enemy Controller in the most recent OTS 23 pack. This card is actually going for insanely cheap for being a card, being classic. It was an anime, and on top of that, it is an ultimate rare, probably the highest printing of the card, or probably the highest rarity printing of the card. It's going for relatively pretty cheap. I know like a lot of GO players are trying to pick up this card and pick up a lot. And if you're looking on the buying side, right now is a perfect time. You could get a playset for under $100 of the highest rarity of the card, which is insane. Whether you're playing GOAT, whether you're playing Advanced, this card is still pretty useful. I think it's a very strong card. Maybe it's not the best in the current meta of Yu-Gi-Oh right now, but I do think that it is worth the pickup, especially for going for these like ridiculously low prices. The other card I wanted to talk about from OTS 23 is Kurikara. I know a lot of people really slept on this card when it first came out because there wasn't a lot of use for it, because the cards that it was good against weren't really known to be the best decks at the time. It wasn't until a little bit later where people really started to understand. So the card was going for like super cheap. Secret printing of the card was like $12, if that, right? Kashtira, the deck that it was really good against, popped up, and you guys saw the finals and how well Kurikara did against that deck. And it at that point in time, the secret printings of Kurikara were the only printings. They skyrocketed to like about $40 to $50. Unfortunately, I bought my pair or my playset at that price, and I was pretty hurt about it. And then the printing of the OTS came out, and it's crazy that this card is going for underneath $40. The same thing, right? You could buy a playset for underneath $100. This is a very nice looking card too. The black on the card looks like silver, so it really glistens really well. You could also get the secret printing for like $24 right now, but I would rather just pay the few bucks more to get the highest rarity of it and the nicest rarity of it, in my personal opinion. Pride of Prosperity is another card I wanted to talk about. Obviously, it got reprinted to hell with Rarity Collection, and the secret original printings just were demolished, right? The secret printings of the card are going for about $8 to $10. You could get a playset of original print secret rare, which is a nice, beautiful card for $10. Realistically, I do think that this card is going to go up. Because it's an original print. I think there's just a lot of rarity collection going around, and I do think this card is going to go up. Now, it's not going to go up by a tremendous amount, but I do think that it's going to go up in some sort of capacity. I think the card is going to maybe go up to like $20 to $15, which isn't a lot. But if you're trying to get the original print, secret print, you could get a playset of the card for $30, which is insane. I would highly recommend picking these up. Obviously, there are other rarities of the card, like super rare, but if you're planning to hold the value, the super rare is not going to be worth anything in the future. This card is going to go for $1, if that, because it's going to get reprinted again. There's going to be more availability. It's going to get reprinted in common and every other rarity. But having a nice secret original print is gonna hold its value in some sort of capacity. The recent ban list, right, that's gonna go into effect if the World Challenge Just DR actually got unbanned. So we're actually able to play this card. And right now is a perfect time for it to be picked up. It's going for relatively cheap. There's literally only one printing of this card, and the card is going for about like $10. Now, is this going to do much in the meta? In my personal opinion, I don't think so. Yu-Gi-Oh has so much power creep in it where the World Chalice cards aren't going to do much. There are a lot better engines, a lot better archetypes than the World Chalice cards, But that doesn't mean that they don't have any kind of versatility. If the World Challenger, because it only has one printing, I do think this card is worth picking up, especially if you're planning to play Dragon Link, which is the deck that a lot of people are thinking that this card is going to be really good in. Is worth picking up. So buying one right now for 12 bucks and some change after shipping is going to be worth it, especially if you're planning to play the strategy. Obviously, you have to invest a little bit more because you have to pick up the rest of the cards that go with the card. But no one knew that this card was going to get unbanned, so I don't think it's really fair to say that look at this price compared to what it is now. I think if you're planning to play it, have the idea, pick it up now, because if it does good in an event, it's just going to skyrocket. And I could see this card, considering it has only one secret rare printing, original printing at that, is going to go maybe to like 40 to 50 bucks. And then if it does better from there, I could see it to going for like 75, right? Because it's generic, level 5 synchro, and it's a searcher, so pretty good in my personal opinion. So we all watched the most recent finals of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Joshua Smith ended up winning with Bistio Runic, which is insane, right? That was a deck that a lot of people didn't see coming. But it goes without saying what it did to the format, right? Now that people are realizing how good Bistios and Runics are, I think it's perfect time to really talk about those cards. Runic Tip and Runic Fountain and Hugin and Sleipnir are the biggest cards. Or if you have a feeling that you're going to be playing these cards in the future, I do think they're worth picking up. But I do think that Runic Tip is really worth it. It's the Searcher of the Archetype. And you could play 3 of, definitely worth picking up. There's obviously other printings, but if you want the nicer printing being at secret rare, it's definitely worth it, right? Like this is before, and I actually picked mine up at before the price spike, and then after, right? So they wouldn't double the price. They wouldn't double the price. So if you're planning to play this, definitely pick some up. The ultra rare is not going to be as valuable, but it's just the same because there's only 2 printings of the card. Actually, the ultra rares actually more expensive. That's actually crazy. So get the secret rares. Don't get the ultra rare. Why would you get a secret? Why would you get an ultra when you could get the secret? But this is the original print, so I get it. But personally, I would get the secret print of the card. I like secret print more than ultra print. Same thing for, Runic Fountain. Runic Fountain is going for pretty cheap. I think it's because it's at 2 right now. But these cards are going for like insanely cheap. The original print Runic Fountain is going for $3. That's insane, bruh. After shipping, of course. These are worth picking up. But if you want the secret print, they're even going for cheaper. That is even crazier. Oh, Jesus. Right now, it is a great time to pick up all the Runic cards. There's obviously, like, more Runic spelling. Like, they're like pennies, if that, right? You got, like, Slumber. You got Flashing Fire. You got Freezing Curses. You have Destruction. You could pick up those up realistically at like any point in time. Those are going to be pretty cheap. But the other one that I really want to talk about was Hugin. Hugin is definitely worth picking up. It is also a searcher of the archetype. You could search out whichever runic. And on top of that, right, watching the finals, we all saw that Joshua Smith, you could use this card in other ways to avoid like imperm and targeting effects, like Effect Veiler. You just have to have duality, which was insane. Watching that was pretty crazy. But picking these up, the ultra rare being 3 copies, the secret rare is going to be even cheaper, which is actually pretty crazy, right? You could get, look at that, look at the prices, guys. It's definitely worth picking up if you're planning to play Runic. And like that's the beauty of like Runic, right? Like Runic is so versatile. There's so many like ways you could run it. You could run it with Bistios, you could run it with Sprite, you could run it with Live Twin, you could run it with Chimera. There's just so many ways to run it. So I definitely think it's a very versatile engine, and they're really cheap right now. So you could pick up all these cards for cheap. With Sleipnir, I do think this card is a little bit more on the expensive side because there's only 1 printing of it. But I think if there's like an ultra printing, I could see this card going for like $4. So the next card I really wanted to talk about were, I guess it's more of like an archetype. It's the Bistios, right? The Bistios have been such a versatile archetype since their release, right? Being hand traps, replacing DD Crow entirely, especially in tier 0 tier format. and they've been useful ever since, right? Like I remember when the super rare Magnum was like $20 to $16, which is insane, right? You never see a super rare gold for that much, up until Magnum got released. But like original print Magnum, definitely got reprinted, and because of that, it went down a little bit. But on top of that, it got hit on the ban list, so it's at 1 right now. But I can understand it's a searcher of the form of the archetype, and you got Bestial Lubellion, who's also the searcher. But you could pick up a nice super rare. I think the super rares look amazing, by the way. But you could get a super rare for under $10 a play set, which is pretty good. You could also get the secret rare printing, but I mean, if you're just gonna need one, I think it's worth buying a playset. In the future, it may get unbanned, or you could sell it in the future when it gets more expensive. I always think that picking up a playset is worth it. But the same thing, right? The super and the secret are going for the same price, and it's because of the limiting to one. The other bestios are going for cheap too. Obviously, like Jerusalem is the most expensive one next to Lubellion because it's really good in the current format because it's good against Unchained. But the secret printing of this card is like insane, right? Like it's such a nice secret rare. But like if you can't really afford, this is pretty pricey, for what was a super. I definitely think waiting on it a little bit, because the next format, we don't know if Unchained is going to be really good, and that's what this card was really used for. Obviously, it's still a good card, but it may fall down a little. Lubellion, like, I am kind of caught off guard that Lubellion is going for as much as it was. Like, the reprint from the tin, I remember this card was going for, like, let's see, $10, 12, $10, right? Like, for since August. But and then with Joshua winning, it just skyrocketed to like 30 because there's only 2 printings of it, right? And it's a very good card and a very strong archetype. But the original print stayed about the same, right? Like since the reprinting of it, it stayed 15, 16, right? I remember this card was going for like 80, and I remember I pulled 2 of them, and I had to buy one at 70, which was insane. But yeah, this card is starting to go up a little bit because it is still a strong archetype. The original prints are going for 35. I don't think you need to be paying 35. I think getting the reprints are just as fine, right? The reprints are going down a little bit, and I do think they're going to continue to go down. But if you're trying to pick one up for a little bit cheaper, right now is the best time because these cards are going for 25. You could get a playset for 70. I remember you could get a playset for what was the price original print a couple months ago, which is crazy. So the next card I wanted to talk about was Dino Wrestler Pankratops. Pankratops was recently let go a little bit at the most recent ban list. It was led to 2, so starting January 1st, you're going to be able to be playing 2 copies of this card. Right now, the secret rares, which is the highest printing next to the collector's rare, just skyrocketed in price, which is what the one that I have. I have 1 copy of the secret rare, and the card is just skyrocketed in price. I don't recommend picking these up. I do think they're going to fall down a little bit. I would wait because they are going to. I could see this card settling down to like maybe $5-7. Yeah, which isn't too much, but you know, save every dollar. Every dollar counts. But there are other great copies of this card. You got an ultra rare, which is going for a fraction of the price. You could get a playset of this card for $1, or for what, $4, $5 after shipping. Definitely worth it in my honest opinion. Getting a playset that way you can future proof yourself is definitely worth it, and what I would recommend. I definitely think that getting this card is really good. There you guys have it. Those are some of the cards that I would recommend you guys investing in. There's obviously always a lot more. Let me know if there's some cards that I miss on this Market Watch episode. I wanted to get you guys' feedback. What do you guys think of my thoughts? Are the cards that I would recommend, or at least the times to get them, are worth it? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. I love always getting your feedback. It's so much fun hearing you guys. But that is going to be it for today's video. I appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. We're getting so close to hitting 1,200 subs on this channel, which is mind-blowing to me, right? So I do want to say, for everyone who has supported me, thank you for a phenomenal second half of the year. Thank you for supporting me on this journey. I hope to see you guys really soon. Hopefully, you guys continue to enjoy this content. But that is going to be it for me today. My name is Winster. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bells. Peace out. You guys have a good rest of your day.